If you've tried digital minimalism and it didn't last, minimal home screen, deleted social apps, clean desktop, but you still feel mentally exhausted by the end of the day, this explains why. You did everything the advice told you to do. You organized your apps into folders, you turned off notifications, you uninstalled the time wasters, maybe you even went full grayscale on your phone. And for a day or two, it felt better. Like you'd hit some kind of reset button. But then, the mental noise came back. The scattered feeling, the exhaustion, the sense that your brain is running in 10 directions at once, even though your screen looks perfectly clean. And you started wondering if something was wrong with you. There isn't. The problem is that most digital minimalism advice focuses on the wrong thing. It treats your phone like clutter. But your brain isn't a closet. It's an adaptive system. And reducing what's on your screen doesn't automatically reduce what's happening inside your head. Let me explain what I mean. When people talk about digital minimalism, they're usually talking about aesthetics. Clean home screens, minimal apps, monochrome setups, and there's nothing wrong with that. It looks organized, it feels intentional. But here's what most people miss. Visual minimalism and cognitive minimalism are not the same thing. You can have a perfectly minimal phone and still be cognitively overloaded. Because the issue isn't how many apps you have. It's how your brain processes the constant input those apps create. Think about it like this. Every time you open your phone, your brain isn't just looking at one thing. It's scanning, sorting, deciding what's new, what's important, what can wait, what needs a response. Even if you deleted half your apps, that process is still happening. Your brain is still in triage mode, and that's where the real problem lives. Not on your screen, in your head. There's a term for this: cognitive load. Think of cognitive load like tabs open in a browser. Each notification, each app switch, each decision about what to check. That's another tab. And just like a computer, when you have too many tabs open, everything slows down. The cursor lags. Programs freeze. Simple tasks take forever. Your brain does the same thing when it's processing too much at once. Mental fatigue, poor working memory, difficulty finding words, trouble focusing on conversations. That foggy, static-filled feeling. It's not permanent, it's not brain damage, and it's not a character flaw. It's cognitive overload. And here's the part most digital minimalism advice doesn't address. Deleting apps is like closing the browser window, while 47 tabs are still running in the background. You can't see them anymore, but your brain is still processing all that input. Because your brain adapted to expect it. You trained it over months, maybe years, to scan for updates, to check for novelty, to stay alert for the next notification. And that training doesn't disappear just because you removed the app. Your brain is still looking for the stimulation it's used to, still reaching for the dopamine hit it expects, still running in the same mode. Removal doesn't retrain. It just pauses the noise temporarily. And that's why the scattered feeling comes back a few days later. Because you didn't change the underlying pattern. You just hid the trigger. So if deletion alone doesn't work, what does? The answer is progressive retraining. Your brain didn't get overstimulated overnight. It adapted slowly across hundreds of small decisions you barely noticed. And it won't unadapt from a weekend of abstinence. Real change happens when you rebuild your brain's tolerance for lower stimulation gradually. Not by removing everything at once, but by creating conditions where your brain can recalibrate over time. This means starting with small reductions in input. practicing attention in short blocks, then extending those blocks as your capacity grows, and designing your environment so the right choices are easy and the wrong choices require effort. That's not a quick fix. That's a systematic reset. This is where digital minimalism actually works. Not as removal, but as retraining. Instead of deleting all your apps, you start with 1 hour per day where your phone is completely away. In another room, in a drawer, out of reach. During that hour, you do one thing with your full attention. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your mind searches for stimulation. Your hands reach for the phone that isn't there. But you sit with that discomfort. And over time, not overnight, but over weeks, your brain adapts. 1 hour becomes manageable, then natural. You're not depriving yourself. You're building capacity. Another example, morning routines. Most people wake up and immediately check their phone. The systematic approach says, start your day with 10 minutes of intentional screen-free time. Hydrate. Move your body. Set an intention in a physical notebook. And after a few weeks, those 10 minutes rewire the association your brain has with waking up. Instead of reaching for the phone, you reach for the notebook. Not because you're resisting, because it's become the default. That's retraining, not abstinence. And it's the difference between a change that lasts 2 days and a change that lasts 2 years. The protocol I use follows this principle. It's a 30-day progressive reset that doesn't rely on willpower or forced removal. It creates conditions where attention becomes easier than distraction. It includes simple analog tools, a notebook, index cards, a timer, so you're not relying on your phone for everything. And it walks you through the process day by day, so you're never guessing what comes next. But the deeper question isn't just about apps or screens. It's about why your brain needs constant input in the first place. Why silence feels uncomfortable. Why boredom feels unbearable. Why doing nothing feels wrong. That's overstimulation. And it's the root of what digital minimalism is actually trying to address. Your brain has been conditioned to expect novelty, to anticipate the next notification, the next scroll, the next hit of something new. And when that expectation isn't met, it creates restlessness, a quiet panic, the feeling that you're missing something. But you're not missing anything. Your brain is just searching for the stimulation it was trained to expect. And once you understand that, once you see the pattern clearly, you can start to change it. Not through removal, through systematic retraining. That's what this is really about. Not deleting apps, rebuilding the capacity for sustained attention, not forcing yourself to focus, creating conditions where focus becomes the natural state, and not relying on willpower to resist distraction. Designing an environment where distraction requires effort. That's the difference between digital minimalism as an aesthetic and digital minimalism as a cognitive reset. One is about how your screen looks. The other is about how your brain works. And if you're still feeling mentally exhausted even after cleaning up your phone, you're not failing. You're just addressing the symptom instead of the system. Your attention is adaptive. The same neuroplasticity that got you into this scattered, overstimulated state can get you out of it. It just takes time, structure, and a method that works with your brain, not against it. If you want the full systematic approach, the exact daily practices, the analog tools, the progressive framework, I put everything into a guide. It's linked below. But the point isn't to sell you something. The point is this. If you've been trying to fix your focus by rearranging apps, and it's not working, you're not broken. You're just using the wrong framework. Your brain doesn't need a cleaner screen. It needs less cognitive load, and that's a different problem entirely. If this was helpful, I post a new breakdown every 2 weeks. Subscribe if you want more. And if you'd rather start smaller, just the first week of the protocol, I pulled that into a free guide. The exact daily practices, worksheets, and prompts for days 1 through 7. That's also linked in the description and in the pinned comment. Thanks for watching.